special place here in New South Wales, one of my favourite beaches. It extends for 32 kilometres. It's absolutely pristine. You've got Pacific Ocean on the one side, so 32 kilometres of Pacific Ocean, and on the inside is sand dunes which extend forever. It's like you're in the desert. So it's a beautiful, beautiful place to be. It's morning, it's early, it's sunrise, but it's bloody cold. My hands are freezing, so I've got my hands in my pocket. So what we'll do is we'll go for a walk and talk along this beautiful stretch of sand, and we'll go through a book summary. So today's book summary that I've got here for you is entitled Get Out of Your Head, and it's by an author named Jennie Allen, so a female author who talks about getting out of our head. So the author kicks off her book with a quote where she says that how we think shapes how we live. Pretty obvious, I think we all understand that, but our thoughts are very, very important and shape the way we live. Morning. So what the author here then goes on to say, and she expresses it so aptly and so beautifully, is that we are caught up in a plague of negative thinking. So most people, we appreciate that our thoughts shape our life, but the big problem is that many people are plagued with negative, which impacts them in a way which isn't always all that good or all that empowering. To realise that you can choose which ones you will entertain. So that's quite profound. I really, really enjoy that. The fact that we can actually choose which thoughts to entertain. And the author goes on to suggest a story to say, well, you know, if you've got people coming to your house and they come knocking at your front door, you can choose which ones you're going to entertain. You're going to choose which ones you're going to let into your house under normal circumstances. You know, you're not going to allow the thug to come in. You're not going to let the person who looks sus come into your house. So it's important to be discerning, I guess is the word that I'm looking for, so that you can choose the thoughts that you want to entertain. Because the bottom line, according to this author, how beautiful is that? I've got the sunrise in my face. I'm on Stockton Beach, which extends for 32 magnificent kilometres. It's pristine. I've got the Pacific Ocean. I've got whales parading up and down the beach here. I can see them blowing their spurting from here. They're probably about 100-200 metres offshore. So later on we'll probably go up to the headland there and see if we can see them. But it's just beautiful, getting the low filtered sunshine early in the morning. Even though it's cold, my hands are absolutely numb with the cold. It's about 8 degrees, 7 or 8 degrees, but because there's a light breeze blowing, I can feel it on my fingers. So the author then goes on to say that we can choose our thoughts. But the big challenge that a lot of us face seminar called Safe Talk. I'm a union delegate and I'm doing a course on suicide prevention and basically being on the lookout for depression, anxiety, substance abuse and all of those sorts of things to be a buddy and to try and help people if of course they need help. And one of the important messages that came from that course, from the course presenter, was that we need to be beacons of hope for all of those around us. You can't be a beacon of hope. You can't be the bright light, the sunshine in somebody's life if you're negative, if you're toxic. And the key message that came out of that seminar that I took up, that I was able to glean, was that you need to talk well. You need to talk well of people around you. You need to talk well of the Prime Minister and his office, the Premier, the police, the church. Because if you're not talking well about the institutions that we have around us, then what does that say about the society that we live in? If you're not talking well about those important institutions, what are you going to be saying about somebody else behind their back? So the key lesson, the key takeaway from that seminar, and I'm on a bit of a tangent at the moment, so I'll get back to this book summary soon. It's important to talk well and not to be a negative Nancy, a Debbie Downer, not to be the person who's the purveyor of fear, uncertainty and doubt, but the purveyor of hope. Expectancy. So what the author says here is that we need to take some time to disrupt our pessimistic thinking patterns by spending time alone and in silence. So sometimes being in a group, being in a crowd all the time has its advantages, but it does have its disadvantages. So the author here is saying is that sometimes what we need to do is to isolate ourselves and spend some time alone and in silence, which a lot of us do. And it's encouraged within my Christian culture to spend some time alone, in silence, in prayer, to gather your thoughts, to eliminate the negative thoughts, to strike out and call out the demons that we have in our life that are troubling us. Because sometimes we get distracted. Without you knowing. So you don't want to be taking on other people's problems all the time, unless of course you try to solve your own problems. So we need silence and stillness. Time by ourselves so we can focus and that by spending time alone can actually help our brain for the better, because it allows us to rewire our thinking patterns and make them healthier, gaining clarity on the pixelation that we may have troubling us in our life. Because we always remember that clarity is power. So sometimes we gain clarity by isolating ourselves and being in silence and praying and seeking divine intervention, or by meditating, depending on what works for you. So some people get caught up in the work or in busyness. You know, when we're always busy, and that in itself is a bit of a disease as well. So what the Lord here is telling us to do is to stand back where you can. Don't get caught up being busy all the time, but make some time for yourself. Find yourself. And the way you find yourself is by doing what I'm doing. Go for a walk along a beach, isolating yourself away from every other person. Even though I'm connected by the internet, it's me talking to a screen, so I can't tell who's at the other end. So for all intents and purposes, I could be just talking to myself at the moment. So make time for yourself is the key message from this book, to allow you to reconnect with your environment, with yourself, and of course with your Creator, with God, because we do need to just spend time building that connection as well. So the last point to come out of this book from this author is where the author says that if you want to beat negative thoughts for good, you must learn the power of connecting with others consistently. So we need to connect with ourselves from time to time, and we say that's important. So that's a key message from this book. We need time out to connect with ourselves, to pray and to meditate. But the author also reminds us that we need to connect with other people alone, and we shouldn't try and be isolated all the time from people. So isolation is good, solitude is good, silence is good, but in bursts, according to the author. But what we need to do is we need to supplement it and complement it with working with people and connecting with people. So we need people time. So whilst independence is prized, especially in this day and time, people want to be independent, and for some reason it seems to be prized, and we mistakenly honour those who make it on their own, because for some reason it's just become the key thing these days. But the important thing, I think, from the author's perspective, is that independence is okay, but it's the sort of thing that teenagers look to try and do in their lives. But interdependence is much better when you're working with other people and you're sharing the events and you're sharing the moments. So we need to help and be helped to be truly happy is the message. And I remember receiving this message many years ago from Steve Covey, where he says that when you're young, when you first come into the world, you're dependent, you're vulnerable, and you need other people around you to survive, to grow and develop. And then you become a teenager, and all of a sudden, you want to be independent, and you think that it being independent is by far the greatest way to be. But it's only when you age and the years go by, you realise that the absolute beauty in life is to be interdependent. So to depend on other people and for them to depend on you as well. And that way you've got pepper. It's a give and take. So love is giving and taking, I guess, is the key message. So I think I'll leave it there. So thank you very much for joining me in this morning episode of Jim's 5am Club, where I'm up here on Stockton Beach. We've got the beautiful sunrise in the background. We've got the breeze numbing my fingers. So let's finish off with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I'm well, I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay relevant, stay reasonable. And most importantly, let's learn to live in isolation and silence, where we can meditate, pray and find ourselves, but also to remember not to forget to connect and be with people so that we can give and receive love and be part of each other's growth and development. At the end of the day, there's nothing more beautiful than being partners in each other's growth and development, where we can share experiences and grow together and be the wind beneath our wings, so we can learn lessons, share life hacks, so that we can live, learn and pass it on. Anyway, thank you once again. Dalembe, bye from Jim's 5am Club, and we'll chat again. Take care.